These are the 5 biggest threats to your financial future in 2026 and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 biggest threats and the key financial mechanisms you can use to navigate through these. Number 1 is inflation. Number 2 is currency devaluation. And number 3 is the debt crisis in America. Number 4 is overvalued stock market. And lastly is geopolitical risk. Number 1, inflation. Number 1 is inflation. You've lost 30% of your purchasing power from 2020 to 2026. And since 1913, since the Federal Reserve was created, you've lost 96 to 97% of your purchasing power. Number 2 is currency devaluation. Is what happens with number 1, inflation. You see currency devaluation. The US dollar, like I said, has lost 96 to 97% of its power. So inflation is currency devaluation. So to make it simple, if you made $100,000 a year in 2020 without doing anything, you still see $100,000 a year. It's numbers bias or psychological bias, but you actually only have $70,000 in purchasing power. It's the boiling frog and boiling water concept. Slowly boiling, you're losing the purchasing power, but you can't see it because it's happening so slowly. Think of gas prices, food prices, and you probably feel it right now in your own personal pocket. Comment if you felt it. Number 3 is credit crisis. America's over 120% debt to income ratio. We pay $1 billion in interest on our debt. $1 billion. So there's no real money in the system. What that means is you get paid in someone else's debt. They're devaluing your currency. The cost of goods and services are going up. And you get paid in someone else's debt because there's no real money in the system. And if you don't stay in debt, the system doesn't work. Next is overvalued stock market. The stock market is overvalued by 230% based on the Warren Buffett indicator. The stock market is worth $69 trillion. We only produce $36 trillion in gross domestic product in America. So that gap between $36 trillion and $69 trillion is what? It's free money, cheap money, debt, with companies that are rocking it on the stock market that aren't even profitable. And lastly is geopolitical risk. A looming war narrative, the Straits of Hormuz being shut down. So you got inflation, silent taxation, your currency devaluation. You're getting poor every single year if you don't own assets. You get paid in someone else's debt. There's no real money in the system. You have an overvalued stock market that your 401k is in, and that's playing Russian roulette. There's been over 32 major market collapses the last 200 years, and the 33rd is coming. And lastly, we have a war narrative, and after every war narrative or any type of big credit crisis, there's a huge monetary shift. So how do we navigate through this? I invented what's called CAPL, DR, not capital, CAPL. It's cash flow, appreciating assets, protection, leverage, and de-risk. Let's break down each of them and attach them to the 5 biggest threats to your wealth.